Dante's Divine Comedy, Inferno, Canto the 24th.
Them escaping those demon guys with funny names, and then running into those friars with the lead habits.
They climb up out of the bolgia, and they approach bolgia 7. When Dante looks into it, he can't actually see what's inside of it, but he does hear things going on in there. So they cross the bridge to get to the other side of the bolgia. Now when Dante turns around and looks in, now he can see into the bolgia. And what he sees is terrifying, because this bolgia is filled with snakes.
Oh.
This is how many snakes he describes seeing. So hideous a mass that even now, the memory makes my blood run cold with fright.
So Dante was afraid of snakes then?
He might have been. There are people down here, and they're practically swimming in the snakes. There are so many.
So they're just living in fear factor for the rest of their lives, basically. Or, well, the rest of their afterlife. Wow.
And I do now have to believe, as canon, that standing like halfway up the Canto wall, sort of in like a niche, is Joe Rogan just commentating the whole bolgia the entire time.
Dante asks a question like, so what's the weird ironic reason for this punishment? And then Joe Rogan will just be like, I have no clue. Jamie, look up snakes.
Jamie, look that up.
Look that up for me, will you?
Dante looks and he sees one soul in particular gets bit in the neck by one of these snakes, and he immediately bursts into flames and disintegrates into ash. The ash that he disintegrates into almost immediately reforms back into his body, implying that, this kind of torture is going to go on forever. The guy who just got turned into ash and then reformed immediately, Virgil asks him a little bit about himself. He reveals that he's a Tuscan. So he's an Italian.
I think that's a good wine region, actually.
This Tuscan is named Vanni Fucci. Call him Vanni.
Oh.
Dante is confused because Vanni being in hell doesn't surprise him, but the thing most defining to him about Vanni was his temper. So he'd think, well, for anger issues, you'd probably be a lot farther up in hell. You wouldn't be this far down. So he asks Virgil, can you ask him what sin brought him here? Vanni is ashamed to have to admit it. Some people stole the Italian king's diamonds, and they were caught and executed, but Vanni was the actual thief. And the people who were killed for it were either innocent or like his accomplices. But either way, people didn't realize that he was the actual thief. We also do learn here, though, that this is the bolgia specifically for thieves. He's a little bit upset at Dante and Virgil for sort of forcing him to admit this. So, in revenge, he prophesies bad things for Dante. And this is another one of these prophecies about more or less Dante's political party betraying him and ostracizing him, which is what happens to him before he publishes this book. They don't move on from the bolgia yet, but that is the end of the 24th canto.